William Shakespeare wrote Othello sometime around 1603, during a period of creativity that also gave us As You Like It, Hamlet, King Lear, and Macbeth. In each of those plays, Shakespeare explored the power of language and the ways in which words create characters' identities and shape their fates. Words also affect how we, the audience, feel about the characters by asking us for a response. Words drive the plot. Language is powerful, and Shakespeare was very specific about his choice of words. For example, let's look at 3 language devices Shakespeare uses in Othello: words as power, words as character, and words as a conversation with the audience.
Beware, my lord, of jealousy.
Language is going to be important in any play, but I think language is particularly significant in the world of Othello. The first thing we realize is that language is power, and it is not just power for Iago. At the start of the play, Othello is very clear about how he and Desdemona fell in love, and it's a love that happens through language, through the stories that Othello tells.
My story being done, she gave me for my pains a world of sighs. She swore if faith 'twas strange, 'twas passing strange, 'twas pitiful, 'twas wondrous pitiful. She wished she had not heard it, yet she wished that heaven had made her such a man.
That is a positive power of language. But then when you put that powerful tool in a villain's hands, it's absolutely corrupt. Iago manages to do most of the evil that he does with the word. And it's not always big dramatic moments like "Beware, my lord, of jealousy. It is the green-eyed monster," which is a fabulous dramatic moment, but that's not how it begins. It begins much more subtly with, I like not that.
I heard thee say even now, thou likest not that when Cassio left my wife. What didst not like? And when I told thee he was of my counsel in my whole course of wooing, thou criedst, indeed? If thou dost love me, show me thy thought.
My lord, you know I love you.
I think thou dost. And for I know thou art full of love and honesty, and weighst thy words before thou givest them breath. Therefore these stops of thine fright me the more.
For Michael Cassio, I dare be sworn, I think that he is honest.
I think so too.
Men should be what they seem.
Yet there's more in this.
So that he's getting Othello's backup. He's making him feel even more vulnerable with those sort of subtle little hints.
Utter my thoughts.
Iago is a kind of master of language in that way.
Him wronged and makes his ear a stranger to thy thoughts.
And I think that's what makes this play so fascinating and also so frightening. We see what a few words can do to deceive and to destroy.
Words are power, and in a play where words create the entire world, characters that don't talk much are struggling for a voice.
Emilia and Desdemona both realize way too late what has been happening. Women just have less information in that time period. They're able to do less, they have less education, they're not allowed to go in public as much, unescorted. Women are always fighting in Shakespeare and in Shakespeare's time to have a larger voice.
Women's speech is really quite problematic in the Renaissance, and that's because women were instructed to be chaste, to be silent, and to be obedient. Those were the prescriptions for a virtuous woman.
The more Desdemona speaks about Cassio, the more Othello thinks she is unfaithful. But we also see women's speech as power.
One of my favorite things is how essential it is for Emilia to speak at the end of the play. When we're in that bedroom and we see Desdemona's dead body, and Emilia enters, and Othello presents all of the information to Emilia and to the other men who enter the room. He had my wife's handkerchief. Emilia understands how that handkerchief came in Cassio's possession. She is the only person who can solve this problem for us. So the audience is dying for Emilia to speak, and she draws attention to her own speech. She says, "It will out, I will speak as liberally as the North." And of course, Iago is actually going to call her a whore for that.
Oh, thou dull Moor! That handkerchief thou speak'st of I found by fortune and did give my husband, for often with a solemn earnestness, more than indeed belonged to such a trifle, he begged of me to steal't.
Villainous whore!
She give it Cassio, no! Alas, I found it, and I did give my husband!
Filth, thou liest!
By heaven, I do not! I do not, gentlemen.
Emilia is killed for speaking the truth. One of the ideas Shakespeare is exploring in Othello is the ability for language to both express and to hide truth. Othello is tricked not by deeds, but by the clever manipulation of words. Desdemona dies because of words spoken about her. And Iago tells us directly that his lies are merely free and honest advice.
I dare be sworn, I think that he is honest. I think so too.
And speaking of honest, that word appears over and over in this play. Now in the Renaissance, the word honest meant different things for men and for women. For men, honest meant someone who's trustworthy. It refers to honor and loyalty. For women, the word honest was primarily referring to chastity. Now in this play, honest is used around 50 times, and about half of those times it is referring to Iago.
Honest Iago. Yes, the villain is referred to as honest in this play, which is certainly ironic.
Honest Iago, oh my fellow honest Iago. Iago, he's so honest. What an honest fellow Iago is. It's relentless, it's really relentless.
That Iago is loyal, that Iago is a man of his word, that Iago is trustworthy. And Othello wants to believe he's honest, and I think that's why he keeps calling him honest Iago.
Iago is not only honest, truthful, he has a certain goodness of character. Desdemona truly believes that of him.
There's not a single person on the stage that doesn't think that Iago is a forthright, honest, trustworthy character.
The word honesty in Othello is used so frequently, and even Iago uses it when referring to Cassio. And I think everyone else thinks it's a wonderful thing. Honesty is the first thing. You're honest with yourself, you're honest with your God, and you're honest with your friends. I don't think Iago's interested in that, because when he refers to Cassio as an honest fool, I think the honest is just as damning as the fool part.
For whilst this honest fool plies Desdemona to repair his fortunes, and she, for him, pleads strongly to the Moor.
There is another repetitive word used to describe a character, this time in reference to Othello.
The word Moor is almost used in place of a name for Othello throughout the whole first half of the play. They say the more this, the more approaches, here comes the Moor. And that in using a label like that serves to reduce somebody's identity even further. Gives them the sense of the other, something that's different, makes him an outsider.
In the title of the play, Othello, the Moor of Venice, yes, I think that he is identified as an outsider right from the get-go because Venice didn't have Moors. Her father loved me, oft invited me, still questioned me the story of my life from year to year. Immediately says, well, this is a story about a man from another part of the world, living in another part of the world. He is a former slave turned general, which is unique. He is a former Muslim turned Christian, which is unique. He is a solitary man up until the time he marries Desdemona, which is also unique in a time where all these men would have wives. So there are many things that make Othello other than just race. And I think that is what makes this play so interesting to do over and over again, because you can unravel so many layers of it.
It is here, but yet confused.
Through the use of soliloquy, the characters talk directly to the audience, sharing their plots, motives, and innermost thoughts, which they keep secret from the other characters on stage.
There is no deception in Shakespeare unless the character says, I'm going to be deceptive now. Because Shakespeare wrote people to say exactly what they were doing.
What's so interesting about the way that Shakespeare uses deception in the play Othello, especially through the medium of Iago, is that the audience for the play are one step ahead of the characters in the play. Iago says very directly, either to the audience, I'm going to go do some deception right now, or to Rodrigo, he'll say, hey, listen, here's this way we're going to deceive other people, are you on board?
Love me.
He opens that game to the audience. And what's so unnerving here is that we immediately become collaborators with Iago, whether we like it or not, because we're his best friend. He starts talking to us immediately. We kind of like him. He makes us laugh. He's very funny. And then when he's stuck, he asks us for help.
How am I then a villain to counsel Cassio to this parallel course directly to his own good?
The journey has to be to get the audience on your side, so at the end, they're complicit in the acts that have occurred. They haven't stopped anything. At the end, the audience should feel a little violated, a little dirty, a little bit part of the action.
The play Othello shows just how powerful words can be. All of the damage done to the characters in the play begins with language. And it's no accident that Iago, one of Shakespeare's greatest villains, doesn't meet his end like any of the other villains.
He silences him, Shakespeare does, but I think it becomes more tragic if there is no comeuppance for the villain.
Will you, I pray, demand that demi-devil why he hath thus ensnared my soul and body?
Demand me nothing. What you know, you know. From this time forth, I never will speak word.